All right, today we're here with Devin Brentzel, who just took first place at ARG States BA with Zefra. All right, so let's get into the deck profile here.
All right, so I played Zefra. I thought it had a really good zoo matchup because of like some of the cards that can make in the extra that most decks can't. But anyway, so I played 3 Zefra. Its pendulum effect is you can place Zefra from the main deck into the top of your extra deck, and it copies the scale. And its monster effect is you can, when it's in the extra deck, you contribute all monsters you control, including at least 3 Zefra. And you can special summon it, and then you can make a second pendulum summon. So it's like, it's the heart and soul of the deck. It's the best card in the deck, so you gotta play 3. You also play 3 Zefra Nui. It's your searcher. What it does is when it's pendulum summoned, or when it is destroyed by battle or card effect, it adds a Zefra or Yang Zing spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And all the scale effects outside of Zefrath, they just say you can only pendulum summon Zefras or their respective archetypes. So like this says Yang Zing. And so like none of their pendulum effects are relevant except the Zefrath.
And you're pretty much cranking out one of him every turn. So
yeah. You want to summon him every turn because he's a hard once per turn, but you want to summon him every turn to get your search. So he's really important. 3 Zefroxy. He's probably the next most important one. What he does is when he's pendulum summoned or summoned from the deck, he changes one of your other Yang Zings or Zefra into a tuner. So like you need to play 3 because he's like the main tuner of the deck. So he's important too, and he's a 1 scale. I played 2 Zefra Wendy. What it does is when it's normal or pendulum summoned, it adds a Zefra from your extra deck to your hand. So she's like really important for recycling, and she's level 3, which is like the most important level in the deck because of like synchros and XCs. So 2 Pilica. What she does is when she's normal or pendulumed, she summons a Zefra or Ritual Beast from the graveyard. So she helps recycle resources. 1 Thubin. This card was okay. It was mostly just a scale. You can use it to out floodgates. What it does is when it's normal, flipped or pendulum summoned, it pops another Zefra or Satellar Knight card on your field to destroy a face-up card on your opponent's side of the field. So like he's just kind of like spot removal.
Yeah, so you pretty much just search him if you need to get rid of something.
Yeah, and he's like if someone would barrier me before I could like pendulum summon, you can just kind of like. It's not the best play, but you can set him because he's 21, so like he's big.
Yeah.
Zefra Naga. This is the main one you make into a tuner. Its effect is if it's sent to the graveyard or pendulum summoned, you can bounce a scale on either player's side of the field. Like you can bounce a pendulum scale. That actually came up once against the magician player I played. What happened was there was one that was protecting his guys from being targeted. So I was able to bounce it and then backseat his field. So that was really important. And the fact that it's level 2 is the main reason. It's the main, like, when I make a tuner in the deck.
And then something I've noticed that's good with having all those monsters pendulum summon with different effect on summon is you can use the chain links.
Yeah. The chain links are real important in this deck because it can protect your searches from being ashed and your tuners from, like, dying to an ogre or something.
Pretty much your mat.
Yeah. And then like the hot tech of the weekend, and I think I'm going to keep playing this because it's correct, is I played dinosaurs in this deck because what these do is this guy, when he's normal, for those who don't know, when he's normal or special, you can add or send a dinosaur from your deck to the graveyard, which like that's the only relevant effect in this deck because it doesn't really use the rest of his effect. But you can search this. What happens is you can discard this to, well actually the main 2 things you search are this and this, because this is just a kaiju and like that's a good search. But what Miscellaneous Source does is you can discard it to make all your dinosaurs for the rest of the main phase unaffected by card effects. And then you can banish it in any number of dinosaurs from your graveyard to special summon a dinosaur from the deck. And the only thing you ever summon is this, so you can add itself, discard it, and special this, so you can make a Denglong. So it's the Oviraptors are a 1-card Denglong because you can add this, send it, and then summon this off of it. So that's like really important because Denglong searches either a counter trap or one of your scales. So these were just kind of engine pieces to summon Denglong, and they were amazing all weekend. And they also help bait things like Ash and Ogre. Because if people don't know you're playing what I'm playing, like, because you go into that first before you do anything else, so they don't know what's Ash or Ogre, and they'll Ash or Ogre one of your plays, so they'll stop that, and you'll be able to basically play for free. And then the only hand traps I played were 2 Ash and 1 Maxi. I wanted to play more, but there was just really no space, and I think these were the best ones going into the weekend, so that's just what I played. That's it for the monsters. It's a lot. I don't know exactly. For the spells, 3 Oracle. When it's activated, you get to search a Zefra monster from your deck to your hand. And when, depending on the type of summoning you do using a Zefra monster, you get different effects. The only ones that are relevant in this version are Xyz and Synchros. When you Synchro, you can put any monster, it doesn't have to be Zefra, on top of your deck. And then when you Xyz, you draw a card and then discard a card. So it kind of like gets your whole engine rolling. Along with that, you got 3 Terraforming because you need to get to your field spell. The field spell is super important in this deck. And the broken card, Zefra Providence. It's Rhoda it searches any Zefra card in your deck, and after the turn it's sent, you can banish it from your graveyard to protect any of your Zefra cards. It's like Return of the Dragon Lords in the grave, so it's really, really broken. That came up a million times, like all weekend. It's probably the best spell in the deck.
There's been a lot of times going against that deck where I've had like a way to out your board or continue playing, but Providence will actually mess it up because
it helps protect from things like board wipes or twin twisters, and it's like super important to keep your stuff on the field.
You always have one of those live engraved.
Yeah, this is almost always the card you search off of your Zefra Nui because you want to put it engraved to protect your board. And then 3 Fossil Dig to get to the Overraptor. That's it for the spells. It's just all searchers. It's consistency. Like you want to max out on consistency. And then for the traps, it's pretty minimal. 1 9 branches, pillars, whatever it is.
9 digs, same thing.
Yeah, same thing. It negates a monster effect spell or trap, and then destroys the Yang Zing, which also triggers your Zefra Nui, which is relevant. But it's just a counter. And this basically does the same thing, Zefra Divine Strike, but it banishes a Zefra from your extra deck instead of destroying something. So, you want to end your board with like 2 of these down because like most people just can't deal with it. And then 1 Zefra War. I'll explain. There's like kind of a cool combo with this. I'll explain later once I get through everything. It pops a Zefra card and pops a card your opponent controls. And if you have 2 Zefras and Scales, it can be activated from the hand. There's like a cool combo with that. I'll show you at the very end when I'm done with showing everything else. 40 main deck. I wouldn't play anymore. That's just correct.
Thank you for being one person who still sticks to 40.
Yeah, 40 is just like correct. Like this deck can brick and can be consistent. You just want to see like as many of your good cards as possible. For the extra, I played 1 Herald. This was a last minute change, but it was good. I summoned it twice. It actually came up mostly against the Windwitch Invoke player. He only had an Alistair in hand, so he actually couldn't attack over this. So that was relevant in the situation.
Yeah, because usually it just gets swung over.
Yeah, because it's like a real low defense. It's only 1,000, but like against a deck like that, or even Dracos, which have an issue sometimes, it's actually pretty good. 2 Deng Long, it's like the heart and soul of the whole extra deck. It's the best card in the extra deck. 2 Deng Long.
Yeah, it doesn't need much explaining.
No, it's just a really broken card. Charge Warrior. There's a little combo with this. So if you Synchro with Oracle up, so he hits board, and his effect would activate his Chain Link 1, which is to draw a card, and then you can activate Oracle's effect to stack any monster. So you can like stack a hand trap and then draw it in the same situation, like in that situation. So he's super broken, but like you don't really need more than 1. Like that only ever comes up going turn 1. Or it can also search like a Scale if you're needing 1. So that's cool. 1 Horus.
Savage.
This card is savage. Yeah. What it does is it has a couple effects, but the only one that ever comes up is Pendulum. When it's Synchro Summon with a Pendulum monster, you take control of one of your opponent's monsters, and it can't attack the turn it's summoned, or the turn you take that monster. But it doesn't target. Your opponent picks. So it actually came up this weekend where I played against Zoo. I baited his Dryden pop and then made this and took his Dryden, and then he had no cards in hand, so like it just ended the game there. Like he couldn't do anything.
It's not till the end of the turn.
It's a permanent take.
Yeah, you get to keep it.
1 Yazi because it's Yazi. This actually mostly just comes up because you played 2 of the Jurak, because if you draw 1 of the Jurak, your whole dinosaur engine's dead, so you have to play 2. But if you draw 1, you can make it with Zefra Nui and this like clears back row, and it's hard to deal with it in Zoo outside of a Whiptail, because it can't be targeted. 1 Baxia, one of the cards I've summoned the most this weekend. It spins cards up to the number of Yang Zings used to make it with different attributes. So it's 1 or 2, but like it almost always gets something important off the field. And you can pop a card you control to special summon a level 4 or lower, which usually I actually like bring back things like Ash and everything for a tuner. So it's actually like it's probably might be the best card in the extra deck outside of like the initial lock that you do with the deck. One Ignister because it's a pendulum deck. Omega because he's the best level 8 synchro.
Yeah.
Outside of Crystal Wing, but like this deck just doesn't really make Crystal Wing, so that's just kind of how it goes. 1 Beals.
Hey, my Beals.
This card is broken against Draco because they literally have 1 out in the entire, or 2, Skill Drain and Stormforth, and if they don't have either of those, they just don't do anything. Like this card just sits on the board. I played Draco's twice, once in Swiss and once in the finals, and you summon this card, and it actually just sits there. They don't do anything with it. They can't deal with it.
My boy's finally doing something.
Yeah, he's broken in that matchup. Chaofeng, he's the win condition against Zoo. His effect is whatever type of Yang Zings he's summoned with, like whatever you use to make him for a synchro material, your opponent can't activate monsters with that type's effects. So you always make it with an Earth. So if they don't have a Kaiju, Chalice, etc., but like the thing is, you usually set counter traps with them. So like everything outside of like just straight Kaijuing it, they just can't deal with it. Like this card just like single-handedly wins games. You summon this and they almost every situation they can't deal with it. So this card is like a win condition. And then when it's destroyed by battle or card effect, it floats into any tuner, so you can search Ash and Ogre. Vermilion, he comes up a lot more than you'd think, just because he's level 9, and a lot of your guys that you can make tuners are level 3, and then you have like your level 6. So like he comes up because he pops stuff, and like that's relevant. You want to clear back if you want to clear back row, or if you want to just clear like a problem monster. He's really good. And like if Dryden pops it, you just add back like an Ash or whatever you use to pop with him. So he's really good.
Yep.
Break Sword gives a lot of 3s in the deck, and he's just good spot removal. Tornado Dragon, because he's probably the best generic rank 4.
That card is low key, extremely good.
This card's broken. Like I only summoned it once, but like in a general sense, this card is just amazing.
Oh yeah, the fact that it's a quick effect.
Yeah. It's super broken. And then Dragulus. What it does is it Book of Moons, an extra deck monster, like once per turn during either player's turn. Then if he's destroyed by card effect or banished by card effect, you can just set him, and when he's flip face up, he non-target sends a card to the graveyard. So
like if you don't use on their monsters and phase, you can book him.
Yeah, you can book him and then flip him up, and then it either baits a back row or just sends a back row, and it just helps push through boards.
Right. Do you want to go through what you sided?
Yeah, side.
Okay.
Side's real easy. 2 Ogre because it's good against Zoo.
Yep.
The 3rd Ash because that card's broken. 3 Twin Twister. I was playing Twin Twister over Cosmic. I do own Cosmics, but I think this card was better because it clears 2 back row, and I'm just more worried about clearing the back row than even against Draco. It's like I'd rather just clear the back row and not deal with it. 3 set rotation and the 1 gateway. I drew this once. It was kind of sucked, but like I drew this once and it was good. So like I think this is probably correct, but I'm not sure yet. I got to do a little more testing.
I've seen 3-1 or 3-2.
Yeah, 3-1 or 3-2 is correct. I'm not actually sure which I'm going to go with. Raigeki because board wipes. 2 unending because it's broken in the any pendulum matchup, and it's actually pretty good against Zoo because you just clear their tankies or barrages. And then 2 barrier.
Yep.
Because it's barrier.
All right, so what were your matchups for the day?
My matchups were round 1, I got Fluffles. That was 2-0. Round 2 was Mermail Zoo, 2-0. Round 3, Zoo, 2-0. Round 4, I got Winwich Invoked. That was 2-1. He was actually a friend. It was a 5-round in Swiss. We were actually talking about, since it's an ARG, you're allowed to tie. We were actually discussing tying. But it was up to me because I was going first in game 3, and we opted to just play it out. And I opened broke, so that's I guess that's how it goes.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's Yu-Gi-Oh! Round 5, I got Draco. That was also 2-1. Top 8, I got Zark Magicians, 2-0. Top 4, it was Pure Zoo again, 2-1. And in the finals, it was Draco's again. The same guy played in round 5, and it was 2-0.
All right, and then anything you want to change with the deck after?
Yes. The things I would like to change are, I'm not 100% on this one, but I was thinking about cutting this, putting this in the side, and putting Ogre in the main, because I I think Ogre's just overall better against Zoo. It's like, so I think that's a change I'm considering, and I'm probably going to cut this guy. I don't think this guy's very good because he just like he removes stuff. Like I almost always only ever use him as a scale, and I'm thinking about cutting him for a second one of this because it's the main thing you make a tuner, or another hand trap. So that's just going to be with testing.
All right, yeah, I definitely. I've seen a lot of people now going back to Ogre.
Yeah, I think Ogre's just better right now because it's more disruptive towards Zoo than Ash is. But Ash is better in every other matchup, I think.
All right, anything you want to say to end it off?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. All right, 3, 2. Fuck off.